Hi. I haven't been on YouTube for a while because I've been through a different kind of pilgrimage, one of illness. In 2022, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then again 9 months later in 2023. So I've been through all the different procedures: radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, surgery. But now I've been about a little over 1 year cancer-free. So to reward myself, I went on a different kind of pilgrimage, one that I'm more familiar with, going to India, where I've been going for the past 30 years. So this time it was 2026, January. I was there for 6 weeks. And that's when I began a different kind of journey. This one, the one I'm going to be talking about over the next few videos: interior life of a wandering soul. So for most of my adult life, I've been exploring life through a lens, through the camera lens. But after the cancer journey, I was kind of forced to turn the camera inward. Like, who are you, Linda? Who are you? Who is God? So that's when my inner search began, and I started writing in India and continued writing when I got back. And so it's become this journey, this pilgrimage towards self. And so I'm going to begin by reading some excerpts from my new book. And this one begins in New York City, where I was photographing the shadows of life, walking into some of the darkest corners. But this corner turned out to be a very inspirational one. Not long after I found myself, this was after I had an encounter with Pope John Paul II, which comes before this one, I was drawn to a different kind of revelation. It became my primary subject for the next 2 years. Every weekend in the middle of winter, I took the long subway ride to the end of the line. Once the great playground of New Yorkers, the amusement park had been shuttered after a catastrophic fire. Still, something there called me. The first time I stepped off the train, the streets were nearly empty. The famous roller coaster rose against a gray sky, silent. I went into Nathan's and ordered a steaming bowl of clam chowder. I remember that very moment, warming my hands around it before heading back into the cold. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for. I only knew that Coney Island mattered. My father had spent much of his childhood there, and I felt as though I was walking through his memories as much as my own. That day, I wandered down to the beach. It was completely deserted. I remember it was like there wasn't a soul on the beach. The wind was sharp, the sand hard beneath my boots. I walked along the shoreline, camera at my side, waiting for something to reveal itself, but nothing did. Disappointed, I turned back towards the subway, cutting through a narrow alleyway between peeling buildings. That was when a man appeared out of nowhere. He was dressed in a tailored suit, wearing a fedora and polished leather shoes. His gray hair was neatly combed, his beard closely trimmed. He looked entirely out of place against the decay of empty buildings around us. He smiled kindly and asked, "Did you get any good photographs?" "No," I sighed. Come with me. Follow me," he said gently. Without hesitation, I followed him. We emerged into a parking lot bathed in winter light. A group of men sat shirtless in plastic beach chairs, their pale skin turned towards the sun. It was hilarious. I mean, I was like, what? These older guys sitting in the middle of a parking lot looking up at the sun. They drank Chianti and talked loudly as if it were summer. One man fed pigeons. Another wrapped tin foil around his neck to reflect the sunlight. Laughter filled the air. I went into an immediate photographic trance. I didn't have enough film to capture everything. The men welcomed me, offering wine, which warmed my chilled body. I knew instinctively that I had been led to exactly where I needed to be. I'd see him again in later years, this man in a fedora hat, once on 23rd Street and once much later on a flight to India. His appearance shifted slightly, but the gray hair, the beard, the eyes were always the same. I eventually came to believe he was my angel, arriving precisely when I needed guidance.